Call this evening's meeting of the Planning Commission to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call, please.
Okay, so it's hard to believe it's the beginning of the year again, 2025. We have some exciting things here going on in Stow, and you guys are going to be part of that, including our comprehensive plan, looking at our planning criteria, code update, yeah, something like that. So that's fun. You're going to be looking at some things as far as the amphitheater and things like that. So we've got a lot of great things. Over this past weekend, we had an excellent kickoff of the Stow Senior Community Center, which was attended by about 500 people. And today they had a New Year's celebration, and it was all smiles, and it was really great to see. So I appreciate you, everything you were involved as far as the commission involved with this. And I invite you, if you haven't been out there, to stop by, because you'll really be surprised at the transformation out there. So we've already called the meeting to order, and if we could go ahead and take the roll call, please.
Mrs. Clancy.
Here.
Mr. Wagner.
Here.
Mrs. Treptow.
Here.
Mr. Basic.
Here.
Okay, I'm going to take one thing out of order. I'm going to go ahead and swear Mr. Basic and Mr. Dukuliak in. Mr. Dukuliak, if you haven't met him yet, this is how fast it transferred yesterday. At around 5:15, he was elected to be the representative from the Park and Rec Board. So he will be taking Mr. Pontius's place. And so today he said he just would like to sit and see what's going on, since it's only been about 24 hours since you've been in this position. But at this time, if you can come up, Jeff and Dan, stand, and we'll go ahead and swear you guys in. Okay, if you can reach your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Dan Whitaker,
Do hereby solemnly swear
hereby swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
as a member
as a member
of the City of Stow Planning Commission,
of the Stow Commission,
that I uphold the Constitution of the United States,
I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter of the City of Stow,
the Charter of the City of Stow,
and otherwise all the laws of the land,
and laws of all laws,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
So help me God. Congratulations. I wanted to make sure we got him before he ran out. Real quick, while you're up here, Jeff, can you just kind of give yourself, or if you can come over here and speak, a little bit of background about yourself? And these are the people you're going to be working with.
All right, so nice to meet you. Nice that you can find out something about me after you swore me in. So I've been involved with Mayor Probonic on the Arts Commission for a few years, and then left the Arts Commission and joined the Parks Board. I think it's about 2 or 3 years now I've been on the Parks Board. And actually considered this when Christy had to remove herself for relocation. And then Bob stepped in. So when it came up again, I was like glad for the opportunity. I live in Stow. I grew up in Stark County. My wife is from Stow, born and raised. We live in Heather Hills. I'm a business person. I operate a electronics disposal facility in the city of Akron. Fairly active in the business environment in Northeast Ohio. I'm also a part-time faculty at Kent State, so I do a little teaching in the business college. Saturday mornings, I do some grading and so forth. So I like to be involved in the community, love the farmers market. I'm excited for all the stuff that's going on in Stow. I watch a lot of things you guys do and challenges you've been faced with over the last couple of years, and Glad I wasn't here then, but glad I'm here now. So, any questions for me or anything you want to ask?
No, welcome.
Yeah, great. Glad to be part of it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, at this time, it's that time of the year again that I will call for nominations for the Planning Commission chairperson. Do I have anybody who would like to go ahead and make a motion to nominate the Planning Commission chairperson?
I would like to motion Jeff Wagner for chair.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Is there any other nominations on the floor? Okay.
Anybody else?
Okay, I need a motion to close the nominations.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for unanimous, and I say unanimous, Jeff. You are now the Planning Commission chairperson, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. I'll give you the cheat sheet here, and you can go ahead, and we're going to go next.
Vice Chairman.
Vice Chair. Yep. So I'll bring that over to you.
I've got one here.
Oh, you got it?
Yep, thank you. At this time, I will call for nominations for the Planning Commission Vice Chairman.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Daniel Basic for co-chair.
I second the motion. It's been first and seconded to nominate Dan as the Vice Chairman of the Planning Commission. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome. I'm not going to be here for the next 4 meetings. Oh, no. Okay. Very good. Do we do a roll call now? Okay. All right. I need a motion on the minutes from the last meeting.
I motion for approval of PC 121624.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the last meeting. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries. Is there any old business? All right, we're moving on to new business.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wagner. The only application that we have on the agenda today is for a study item. This is for 3657 Fish Creek Road, and the property owner is here, Mr. Brad Ruth. This property, shown on the map, highlighted in red, is 4.7 acres, currently zoned C3 community retail. And looking closer at the existing conditions, this is where Bellacino's is and the primary pet care. Also in the back of the property, probably not many people notice, a cell tower tucked back here. So part of this project, and I'll show on the next slide, they're proposing to rezone it to I2. So before we look at the site plan, just want to go over some of the uses that are permitted and conditionally permitted in the C3. So currently in this district, by right, you can have, offices, laboratories, retail uses, personal services, which would be nail salons, hair salons, restaurants, fitness clubs, and indoor commercial recreation uses. It also includes conditionally permitted uses such as nursing homes, any drive-through facilities, auto sales, and gas stations. This is not a comprehensive list, but some of the more common uses that we see in the C3 district. Sorry, 1 second. All right. So this is the site plan that was provided to us. So you got Fish Creek Road over on the left side of the screen. They're proposing to install 3 different self-storage buildings at the rear of the property. One building would be near by the cell tower, and then 2 larger ones right behind Bellacino's. And part of this is that they would have to rezone it to I2, and they'd have to split the property so that the self-storage is on its own property, so you're not also rezoning Delcinos to an industrial district. So if that were to happen in an I2 district, they also permit offices and laboratories, training facilities, hospitals, auto repair, landscaping companies, machine shops, fabrication operations, and warehousing and distribution uses. So those are permitted by right. Conditionally permitted, they could come in, they could propose to open a crematory, foundries, major manufacturing, and also contractor storage yards as principal uses. So again, this is only a study item at this point. They're just looking for initial feedback before they actually make any applications. So they just want to get an idea if this was something that would be supported. A couple variances that they would need with this application. Based on how they split the property, they would either need a variance for not having any frontage on a road or having less frontage than required. They could split it off and make a flag lot. So they could have some frontage up on Fish Creek, but kind of depends on how they split it. And then another variance would be exceeding 50% of the total floor area of all buildings on the property, which is a supplemental regulation for self-storage facilities. So basically they would need, to meet that requirement, they would need like a large office building with 50% of the area being self-storage. So in this case, it would be 100% self-storage facility. So those are just two variances identified so far. If submitted, we would do a full review and identify more at that time. But yeah, right now it's just to get feedback on the initial plan, see if it's something that'd be supported. Also recommend that he reach out to council as well to get their feedback. So happy to open it for discussion.
Any questions? Brad, would you like to comment? State your name and your address.
Yes, hello. My name's Brad Ruth. I'm at 4644 Grafford Lane in Stow.
And
What's that?
do you solemnly declare and affirm that what you're about to say shall be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've owned this property since 2008, and I've been looking for something to do with the back of the property. There just isn't a lot of use back there. Retail isn't. It's so far off the road to put retail in there doesn't make a lot of sense. Office, not really a need for office right now. So I'm just looking for another avenue to to use the property. I've got it's almost 5 acres there, and so I was just looking for another way that I could generate revenue with the property. I'm also going to put the addition on the front of Bellacino's at some point. There's another section, that grassy area, that at some point, when the demand is there, I'm waiting for a tenant to come along to say, hey, I want to sign a lease. So we're advertising that at some point. That's something I want to do too. And so that's kind of where it's at. Any questions?
It seems like a logical use to me.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was something that I didn't want to do storage back there that was just like vehicles or containers. I want something that's clean and nice looking. So I think it would look real junky if you're putting motorhomes and boats and stuff like that. So I want it stored inside, clean, and looks good. My property, I think we do a pretty good job of keeping it looking good and clean and nice. And I want to obviously do the same with that, with that property, and always make sure we're maintaining and make sure it looks good.
So, some of those storage areas sometimes have, gates, and security gates, and sometimes they don't. It depends on the owner. So is any plans for something like that?
That's a good question. I was going to put them at, if we don't have any outdoor storage, there's not as much of a need to have a gate back there, but I'm not opposed to putting a fence around it if need be. But it's an area that I would put cameras back there, and then if we want to put a fence up, I kind of worry about the look of the fence more than anything else, how it looks to the property, for people that are driving in there, the aesthetics of the property. So that's something that I'm open for discussion on that one way or the other. we put cameras back there and we don't, and I think we can solve a lot of the issues we would have back there.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
If I can add.
Yes, please.
I knew I had another slide. Forgot about this one. Also want to mention the comprehensive plan, which was done in 2017. This is the land use plan, just showing that this property is designated as retail/service, which is generally the commercial designation in the land use plan. So just want to point that out. It is important when rezoning property to take that into consideration. So just want to make sure everyone's aware of that.
Okay. Sure, you're on. You're in.
Yeah, I'll go.
Wait, we need you on a.
So I'm looking at this thinking that the egress is coming off this existing driveway to the bottom.
Yeah.
So does that pose any challenges with the cell tower, the backside of that property, with having access all the way through to the cell tower on the other side of it?
No, it shouldn't, because they've got access to the front of there and they'll have access to the side. The driveway already exists in that cell tower back.
Okay. And then,
That was a pretty standard self-storage.
and that's the cell tower all fenced off already, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Its own security, own fenced off, right? Okay. That's all.
Any other comments, questions? I think we're good.
Sorry, I'll just add on. From a planning perspective, I've expressed this to Mr. Ruth. My only concern was in the future, looking down 20, 30 years in the future, if this is zoned I-2, uses can change and somebody can come in and by right put in, machine shops or contractor storage yards. So just something to consider for this area, because changing the zoning district brings in a whole new list of uses. So
Okay.
that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from outside?
No.
All right. No action to be taken, correct?
No action for this. I do have another discussion item I want to mention before we adjourn.
Go ahead.
All right, so moving on from that. Signs. Let's talk about electronic city signs. What do you guys think?
Happy New Year, Jeff. It didn't go away.
We're back.
Happy New Year.
All right, so as you might remember, we brought forward a couple versions of electronic signs for the front of City Hall here at the corner about a year and a half ago or however long ago it was. So we want to revisit that again, redesign it. We haven't made any progress towards that, kind of put it on pause for a while, but want to get your feedback before we even design it, to get, any feedback that we can, just so we know what to look for when we are designing the sign. And this is just showing a few examples from nearby cities, having electronic signs in the front yard. These are closer to the street, so they are a bit smaller. The one that we were proposing would be, I think, like 80 feet back from the corner. So we were looking at a larger sign. Yes.
Separate or one?
Your mic.
Yeah. Yep. So these were the designs that were brought forward. Ignore that whole display, but yeah. So we're looking at versions for 2 faces and 3 faces. This is the last version that we brought forward, and there's like 3 different area options. There's a 5x10, 4x8, and this last version was 3 faces. So we have one facing the corner and one facing Graham and Darrow. So we're open to redesign that and bring something else to Planning Commission for recommendation. Just want to get feedback on what you guys want to see.
I'm still opposed to 3-sided.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to create problems traffic-wise, et cetera. And I think until we find out what the new sign requirements are going to be with the update, I think we should stick closer to what is allowable, because if we start designing our signs, and this one violated so many portions of what our sign requirements are, that doesn't set a good example for the rest of the community, that when the city wants to put a sign up, we don't have to follow the rules. We can make it anything we want. And I think that's wrong. So I'm just one person, but either we wait and find out what we're going to redesign it, because as we discussed, it probably is going to change. But I don't think we should go ahead with something that had so many violations that you have to make 3, 4, 5 variances for our sign.
Yeah. So I know some of the variances that we brought before were for the number of signs on the property, which is a huge property. You know, we can't get away without having less signs, honestly. So it's a large property. We would be requesting a variance from the electronic sign area. I think those are the two big ones. You know, setbacks weren't a problem, anything like that. I think sign faces was the other variance. But we know our sign code does not work for properties like this,
Right.
and other large properties, you know, that have multiple uses on the property that are large, that need multiple freestanding signs. So I think we've identified that, and that's part of why we're also updating the code. I don't know how it's going to look with the new sign ordinance, but I think it'll be a lot better at accommodating these types of properties. But yeah, with that in mind, we want to move a little quicker with something to bring in planning commission. I know at the last meetings we talked about adding, even some signage on top of the electronic area. Maybe like City of Stow, City Center, whatever it was. But again, just looking for that feedback.
And there was not much of a response when we suggested that we could have 3 signs, one on 91, one on Graham, and one out here. You're getting your 3 signs, but it'll be, I think, a lot more effective, because the people driving 91 would see it, people driving Graham would see it, and people at the stoplight would see it. But it's 3 different signs.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You said 3, so on each
Yeah, one
corner.
on 91,
At
down by the entrance
to the skip.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And one on Graham Road.
At the boulevard.
Yep.
Okay.
And one out here. Instead of having a mammoth 3-sided, all lighted sign out here. That's just me.
I agree with Jeff on just about everything he said. I remember going through approval with the Skip Playground, and there was a problem, too many signs, but it was because of the way the code was written. And then when this came about, this even became a little more of a worse problem, because we were just putting so many signs everywhere. I agree. I think it absolutely needs to meet the new code, because the city needs to set an example. Because if you drive around Stow, we get variances all the time, and it's like sign, and they're all different. They're not consistent, and I think that that's something that the city really needs to take in consideration. When this came about, my main concern was the 3-sided was just absolutely mammoth. It was taking away from the aesthetics of the building itself. And I think if there's any way we can utilize, as we had discussed before, adding some electronic signage on the 2 entrances and one out front, I think that would make more sense. More people would see it as you're stopped, in traffic each way coming. But I don't want to take away from this building. And I want to make sure that it's very cohesive, whatever is designed. But yeah, I agree.
And it's obviously ugly to do it the way we're doing right now with the portable sign out there. But if you have one sign out there, that's the same as you have now, and you add one at each side, you're really increasing the visibility. Go ahead.
Yes, couple reasons why we're really looking at this, and we've heard this over and over, and we know, and it's ironic actually. People were always kind of ecstatic when the Stowe Century left. Okay, and we're hearing from people they don't know where to get the information. Now that doesn't mean that we're putting a huge billboard out there to explain the whole program, but to go to the City of Stowe website, or Summer Sunset Blast is coming this weekend, and so forth like that. What we're looking at right now is a two-sided sign. It'd be as such. We have to, since we've already taken out and we're moving, we got rid of the flagpoles back behind here. We're going to put the 3 flagpoles up front, okay? And the Doughboy is going to go back, okay? We're going to redo that whole area, and there's going to be a walking sidewalks all the way through there, so for connectivity. So we want to use that area up there. So it will be pretty close to the same size, but Doughboy will be gone and move back along that way. But that's what we're hearing, is that we're not communicating with our residents. And we're having a very hard time with this. Whether it's young people or older people, we're having a hard time promoting what we're doing, and people are going, I wish I would have known about this. And yes, we have our website. They do an excellent job. Jeff sat through a meeting yesterday at Park and Rec, and I mean, the amount of people that visit our website and also to our Facebook page is phenomenal. The number of opens that we get for the email blasts that we send out every monthly email is great, but we're not hitting the people. I even had that comment today as soon as we had that party at the Stowe Senior Center. Didn't know about it. And we're running into this issue. So what we're looking at right now is a two-sided up front here. And then, like I said, but it's going to be, there's already redesigned plans to go ahead and make different use of this property up here so people can walk. And you'd be probably shocked, maybe not, it's awful cold tonight, of how many people actually walk this area during the day and at night. It's remarkable. I'm always shocked, not even just with the Christmas lights, but they feel safe around here. So we want to make some more paths along there, because right now, yes, it's beautiful. It's green space out there, but nobody's being able to enjoy what's out there. So we're looking right now kind of like a two-sided thing, to where that would be the case, with a possible top, like if you can go back, Zach, with the city of Fairlawn up there on the top, and it's kind of got a curve to it and so forth like that. But that's what we're looking at, and that's the reason. And if you look at this along the way, I would challenge us. We're about the only city that doesn't have one now. And there's a reason for it, because they're using it, as you see at the bottom, cityofcogfalls.com, and advertising over the radio station, which we don't have one, but showing those type of things. So we're hearing this from our residents that this is an issue. So that's the reason why we're bringing it up to you again.
But I don't see any double-sided signs in any.
No, this is for discussion, and
Yeah.
that's what we're looking at. 3-side is gone, 2-side is what we're looking at. But with a different, we have to put the flagpoles out there this year, because we took them down back here because of moving of the 9/11 memorial across the way. And we put the tree in that spot, and we're going to redo that whole area back there. So before we only have the flag that's up here right now, we need to get all 3 flags out front in order to be proper for our city too. So that will be forthcoming. And again, this is just a discussion item, but that's where we're at. And we wanted to put that on your radar, that this is what we're doing and why we're doing it. Because like I said, I'm almost at a loss now of who doesn't have one. And there's a reason why they do.
I'm not opposed to
Yeah, I
the
know.
sign. I'm opposed to getting proposals that are going to require variances.
I don't know what that'll do with a two-sided.
Yeah, I know you can have two display surfaces on a monument sign. I mean, these have technically two display surfaces on either side. So I don't think that would require variance, just doing two at an angle. Depending on the size that we choose, that we move forward with, it might be a variance for the height. I don't think we need a height variance for the last one. So we can probably get away with that one. Really, the only one that we're looking at is electronic sign area and the number of signs for the property. So,
My personal opinion.
If I could add just one more thing, and I'm not pointing them out for a reason. Well, I am pointing them out for a reason, but not for a bad thing. If you look at the high school sign, it's too small. Okay, so when you pass by there, you don't even know what you're looking at, and you're flying by and you go, what did it say about Kyle Feldman? I don't know, but that's the case. So, I mean, we have to be kind of in that area to where, since we do have a huge setback here with this intersection, of making sure that we're also not rubbernecking people, I guess, to look back and say, what did that sign say? Not that they won't do it, but I'm just saying but yeah, we're looking at a two-sided. We just wanted to have conversation, what we're going to bring forward to you, of not beating you with a club saying, here, we're back with the three-sided sign again. So, I mean, that was kind of the discussion.
yeah. But also, if you do have any design recommendations, if we are going to bring a sign, if you have any design recommendations, anything similar to this, with the city name at the top of it, or anything that might improve the sign.
I guess my recommendation is make it similar to the one you just put up at the city center, at the community center. That design.
Got it.
I mean, it looks like the Fairlawn, similar to the Fairlawn one, but if we're gonna,
Okay.
if it's gonna have the city of Stow, I would say consistency of the city design.
One other thing, if I can add also too, it will address an issue, and I know we talked about like where it says City of Fairlawn, City of Cog Falls. Think about when you pass by this building. We all live here in Stow. We don't know what this building is. There is no signage on this building, and what it will do also too, it drops you here. If you put this into your maps or whatever, it'll drop you in the front of the building, right up front here, which is in the back. So I don't even know where I'm at. So we're trying to accomplish that piece also too of here's where you are. It's kind of funny if you really look at it. What was it? A year ago, we had a criminal that tried to outchase the police out here. I don't think he knew where he was at because he ran down 91 and ran straight into the safety building. Okay, so that goes to show you it's not well known. Not that I really wanted him here in our city, but yeah, it wasn't a wise move.
It was working.
Okay.
What about, I agree with a lot of the things that are said here. The consistency is huge. I agree with Jeff and Lynn. We have to set a standard for the rest of the people in this city that are going to put up signs. I don't know how many times I've come going west on Graham or north on 91, even the temporary sign. I see that, and because it's angled the way it is, it provides visual from both directions on that. Are we looking to do a 90-degree and make it 90 degrees to the streets? Or are we looking at any other options when you have a two-sided sign?
Yeah, we haven't decided whether it be 90 degrees or a little bit further angle, but
We're looking for your input on
Yeah.
this, what you see,
Okay,
because you
yeah.
do represent the residents of Stow. What would you like to see and how do you visualize it along that way too?
I think, again, going back to the way that the temporary signs are, I wouldn't mind seeing something 120 or something like that, splayed a little bit. It would give a little more architectural difference to it than just a straight 90 degrees or whatever. But I don't know how many times, except it's not going to affect the people that are going this way, going east on Graham and south on 91. It will, they'll still see it, but they'll be looking again, the rubbernecking thing is an issue. You don't want to just drive by the sign and say, what did that say? And then turn this way, and then, you know, they're stopped at, you know, over here by the Huntington Bank. So, I don't know. I think it's just, I would like to see something like different. And I don't know what that different is, but something that's really catchy.
Has anybody seen anything in any other city? I'm never opposed about taking an idea and making it better, but as we're out and about, I mean, because I was talking to Zach this morning and I said, you know, that City of Fair Lawn one looks clean. Okay, it's very clean. So have anybody seen ones out there that you go, wow? Because I do. I know I'm weird. I go to different cities and I'll say, oh, wow, I see. And that's what I brought up to Zach today. But have you seen any, even in the Cleveland area, Columbus, whatever that you've seen, go, wow, that is really a cool one? I know there's a really nice one up in Strongsville in front of their city hall. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. That's been there for probably, 10 years. But I didn't know if you've seen anything. But also, too, it's kind of like to put it on your radar. So as you're out and about, you go, oh, there's what that doggone mayor's talking about, another sign like that. But, you know, I mean, just to put on your radar as far as that's concerned.
Can you, with the sign submittal, include what you're talking about how you want to add walkways and paths and how you kind of want to, so that way we can see the whole picture of what you're thinking?
Yes. So we'll show you the whole piece of, because if I remember right, it's been a while. We really got wrapped up in senior center, but it kind of like almost like crosses the sidewalk. We had architectural drawings of this from an architect of how we were going to incorporate this. And like I said, the other piece is we have to go ahead this year and get those flags out there, okay? Because we've taken them down here. I mean, that's not the main driving force of the sign, but how are we going to make this all right at one time? I don't want to have Mary's husband digging up a pole or something like that, or, you know, supervising the guys going, boy, that mayor's stupid. Now we're digging up a pole that we just planted 3 months ago or whatever. So yeah, so you'll see a whole plan along that way.
How tall is the City of Fair Lawn sign?
I would guess 8 feet.
Okay.
Any other feedback or questions about it? Any input?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to start the design process and just see what we come up with, and we'll bring it back for more feedback. So.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, that's all we have. I think somebody did come to make a public comment. If you want to open up for public comment.
Yes. Anyone have public comment?
No. Okay.
I guess we're good. Motion for adjournment?
Second. Oh, I have to make a motion.
Yeah.
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.